Welcome to our deep dive on cracking one of the toughest parts of running a great marathon, the fueling strategy.
Exactly. We're not just talking about how to finish. This is about giving you a practical, step-by-step guide to fuel your next personal best. So let's get right into it.
So let's just start with this question right here. Because honestly, for so many runners who are pushing for that next level, the real key to unlocking their potential, it isn't in their legs. It's actually on their plate. And that is exactly where my head is at. I've put in hundreds of miles training for what's going to be my 7th marathon. I am all in on trying to break that 3-hour mark. The fitness, I think it's there, but I have bonked before. I know my nutrition is my Achilles heel. So, seriously, where do we even start?
We start way before you even get to the starting line. A perfect race day performance actually begins 3 days out. This 72-hour window is all about methodically, and I mean methodically, packing your body's fuel tanks completely to the brim.
Now, the sciencey term for this is glycogen supercompensation. It sounds super complex, but the idea is actually really simple. Think of your muscles as a suitcase. For a short trip, you pack light. But for a marathon, you need to overstuff that suitcase with as much fuel, which is glycogen, as it can possibly hold.
And how we do that is by focusing on the right kind of carbs. We're talking simple, easily digestible stuff like white pasta, white rice, and potatoes. At the same time, you're actively avoiding high-fiber and high-fat foods. Those just slow down digestion and can cause, well, let's just say unwanted pit stops on race day. The main point here is keep it simple, keep it kind of bland, and keep it high-carb.
Okay, that totally makes sense. But what about drinking? I'm always terrified of getting dehydrated, but I'm also worried about, having to stop every couple of miles.
That's a great question. And hydration, it follows the exact same principle. Start early and be consistent. You should be sipping fluids with electrolytes all day long for those 3 days. Your goal is to show up to the start line perfectly topped up, not waterlogged. So yeah, definitely no chugging a gallon of water right before you go to bed.
All right, let's fast forward. It's race morning. The alarm goes off at 4 a.m. The nerves are absolutely kicking in. What's the game plan? I need something simple, something totally stress-free.
Here it is. A perfect race morning is all about the timing. 3 hours before the gun, you're eating your practiced go-to breakfast. Something simple, like a bagel with a little bit of peanut butter or a bowl of oatmeal. This gives your body plenty of time to digest. After that, you just follow the clock.
So let's talk about that 2-hour mark, caffeine. For a lot of people, a cup of coffee or a caffeinated gel can really lower your perceived effort and give you a great mental boost. But, and this is a huge but, you have to practice with it. If you're not used to it, it can be a one-way ticket to gut trouble. You have to know how your body reacts. If you do use it, taking it about 1 to 2 hours before the start gives you the benefits without those race start jitters.
Okay, so we've made it to the start line. We're feeling good. Now comes the really hard part. How in the world do you take in fuel while you're trying to hold a sub-3-hour marathon pace?
You do it proactively, not reactively. This is hands down the biggest mistake runners make. They wait until they feel that energy dip, but by then, it's just too late. You need a strict schedule. Start as early as mile 3 and then fuel consistently like clockwork every 30 to 45 minutes after that. Just remember this, you're fueling for the mile you're going to be running in an hour, not the one you're in right now.
And hey, here's a fun little fact. When you feel that dreaded muscle cramp starting to lock up, your first thought is probably, I'm dehydrated. But more often than not, it's actually an electrolyte imbalance. Your body's just sweated out too much sodium and potassium, so make sure your gels or drinks have electrolytes to keep those muscles firing like they should.
That's a great point, but what happens when things just go wrong? I've definitely had that moment where the thought of another super sweet gel just makes my stomach turn. What's plan B?
Oh, that is such an essential question. Plan B is all about being flexible. First, try sipping just plain water to see if your stomach settles. If you can, maybe grab something from an aid station, even just a few orange slices or a sip of their sports drink. Your priority is to get some calories in, because a small amount is always better than nothing. And for sure, carry one extra gel, just in case.
So, you did it. You crossed the finish line, maybe you even hit your goal. The job is done, right? Well, not quite. Your fueling strategy actually extends beyond the finish line to really kickstart your recovery. Okay, so your body is basically like a sponge in the 30 to 60 minutes right after you stop running. This is what we call the golden window. During this short time, your muscles are just primed to absorb nutrients to start repairing all that damage and restocking those completely empty glycogen stores. The plan is super simple.
Your #1 priority is getting in simple carbs and some protein. I mean, chocolate milk is a runner's classic for a reason. It has the perfect ratio. A protein shake, a banana, some yogurt, those all work too. Just get something in your system within that hour, and of course, start rehydrating with water and electrolytes.
So after that initial chocolate milk and, maybe a celebration beer, what comes next?
Exactly. For your first real meal a few hours later, you want to focus on quality. Think about whole foods that are rich in anti-inflammatory properties. Things like salmon, sweet potatoes, leafy greens, and berries. This is what's going to help reduce that muscle soreness and really speed up the deep recovery process.
Wow, this has been incredibly helpful. So if we were to boil all this down, what are the absolute must-do, non-negotiable rules for building my own bulletproof plan?
Takeaway number 1 is the golden rule of all endurance sports. Nothing new on race day. You have to practice everything. The exact breakfast you're going to eat, the brand and flavor of gel you'll use, the timing of it all. Your long runs are your dress rehearsals. Don't skip them.
Second, you have to be proactive. Fueling isn't about responding to hunger or thirst. It's about staying ahead of depletion before it starts. You have to eat and drink by the clock, not by how you feel. That is how you avoid hitting the wall. Period.
And finally, please remember that you are an experiment of one. What works for me, or the person next to you at the start line, might not work for you. Listen to your gut. And I mean that literally. Analyze what feels good on your training runs, tweak things, and always, always have a plan B in your back pocket.
So, we'll leave you with this thought. You have invested months of hard work, early mornings, and a ton of sacrifice into your training. Don't let all that go to waste with a haphazard nutrition strategy. The real question is, are you ready to build a fuel plan that's every bit as strong as your legs are?